A saleswoman saw a kitten by the shop's door. She understood that the kitten was seriously ill when it started to run away. It couldn't control its body, and it was thrown from one side to another. The woman went after the little one because she was really worried about it. The kitten snuck under the fence of a separate house, whose owner said that the kitten sometimes slept on the blankets in the yard. But the man couldn't help the kitten because it gets scared and runs away immediately. It was getting cold outside, and it was clear that an ill kitten could not survive in these conditions. They'd been searching for the kitten for a long time around the neighborhood. Surveillance cameras were even mounted everywhere where it used to appear to help find the little kitten. When the kitten appeared, it came up to the bowl and tried to eat. It staggered and barely kept its balance. It was being blown by the wind, and when the kitten heard the people's footsteps, it started to run away stumblingly and fell down the stairs and just rolled off them. A local man told them that there were two kittens at first and they were both healthy. Then a car hit one of them, which was the brother of this little one. And this little kitten disappeared and then came back like this. The poor kitten had to be rescued. But how can they catch it if it desperately runs away throughout the neighborhood? After a long chase and search, the kitten was found under the stairs. It was exhausted and it was breathing heavily. It was finally caught and taken to the vet. The cat had a low temperature, dehydration, and a coordination movement disorder, which was caused by an infection that affects the nervous system. Doctors intensively started to strengthen the little one's weak immune system. They injected it with vitamins, let it rest, and gave it a healthy diet. This kitten wants to live and doesn't lose faith. I hope the doctors helped it to get healthy. After all, miracles can happen, right? Anyway, it is now in safe hands and will be given proper care. An animal rescue organization received an urgent call. A woman caught sight of a dog that was hit by a car. When the rescuer arrived, he found the frightened poor thing hiding under a car. It had a broken paw. The man just approached with his hand, and the dog started to bark and bared its teeth. Not knowing what to expect from a person, her paw was hanging loose, and it was painful to step on it. The rescuer started talking to the dog while slowly putting the loop under the car. He was afraid the animal might run away due to fear, so he fenced the car and continued to try and catch the dog with a loop. The little dog resisted with all its might, but still, the rescuer managed to put a leash on it. The dog seemed to understand that this is a kind person who can help it. The man fed the poor girl, and they went to the animal hospital. By the way, the dog was named Arya. Its hip was broken, and there were stones in his stomach. Arya was bathed, and then the little dog was taken to surgery. 3 weeks later, Arya was healthy. She started to run, play, and have fun. And volunteers began to look for a loving family for this beautiful dog. The story happened in Ulan-Ude. A man saw a dog across from his house in an unfinished high-rise building on the top 12th floor. The little dog couldn't find a way out of there to get down. The poor thing was starving, so it began to catch birds and almost fell down. When the man saw all this, he called a rescuer from the Ne Secret TV channel and asked him to come. It was terrifying for them to go up the unfinished high-rise building and look for the dog because there were no handrails or barriers. The man spotted its footprints, which were on the very edge of the floor because it risked falling down so many times. Finally, they found the little dog and it barked and responded to them. They began to lure it with food and gradually went down the stairs. By doing this, they reached the first floor. It was lucky that the dog went up to the people because catching it with a net or a loop under such conditions would have been risky. Both the dog and the rescuers could have just fallen down. It turned out that the dog's name is Yana, and it lives in the groundskeeper's care along with other dogs. They hadn't seen the dog for 5 days and they were looking for it, but they didn't even know it was up there. The poor dog was so starving that it immediately started to eat hungrily. It's great that it all ended up okay. A black pit bull was seen limping on its front leg near a highway. This was reported to a volunteer at Hope for Paws Animal Rescue Organization. He immediately went to look for the dog. It was lying among the rubbish, hidden by the overhanging branches. When the poor dog saw the volunteer, it jumped up and started to bark. It was very scared and nervous. The man threw it some food, and the dog ate it because it was very hungry. The volunteer carefully put a loop on the dog while continuing to feed it, so she quietly came out of her hiding place. She was dragging her swollen front paw and felt incredible pain. The rescuer poured the little one some water, and it was at this moment that it bit the loop in two and ran away, so the man had to start all over again. Yara, that's what the man called the dog, hid in its safe place again. The volunteer had no more food, so he threw a tighter loop around Yara's neck and pulled her out. The dog drank some water, and the man put a second loop on it for safety and called a woman from the same animal rescue organization to help him. Together, they put Yara in a cage and took her to the vet. The poor dog was in extreme pain and feared further suffering. Unfortunately, it turned out that her paw was completely shattered and it had to be amputated. When the physical pain was gone, the little dog finally wanted human contact. She was treated and learned to trust people. One could wonder what could possibly happen to turtles swimming in the sea. After all, they are protected by their shell, but fishermen, surfers, and others very often notice turtles whose bodies, and especially their shells, are covered with sticky cockle shells. This makes it very difficult for the poor turtles to live normally. These cockle shells are sticky and eating away at the shell structure, and then they bite directly into the turtle's body. Fortunately, caring sailors catch the suffering animals and get rid of these marine parasites by using their hands, knives, and whatever else they can. After that, the turtles are set free and they swim away alone. A 4-year-old leopard accidentally fell into a 6-meter well with water. Zoo volunteers and employees of the Forest Department of India rushed to save it. First, the poor thing was lowered a wooden board so that it wouldn't exhaust itself and could stay afloat without drowning. The animal had spent several hours in the well, so the rescuers had to act quickly. A special cage was lowered down that was built just for such cases. The leopard immediately swam to it and quickly climbed inside, escaping from this deep, dangerous trap. The poor thing was pulled up. It was taken to the vet for treatment and was carefully monitored until it fully recovered. And then, the leopard was set free back into nature. Never walk past animals that need help. Remember that all of them are just like us. They want to eat and be warm. Sometimes they feel pain and bad too. Like this video and be sure to share it via your social networks. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and click the bell to avoid missing new interesting videos. Margo was with you. Bye everyone!